And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from both Mike Myers and to be Jason Voorhees again, who asked the question, who would win in a fight? Jason Voorhees versus Matt Cordell, I believe his name is, from the Maniac Cop series. So, we have had Jason Voorhees on the show, or the channel, plenty times before. Matt Cordell's a new one. I've never watched Maniac Cop at all, but the tragic villain and main protagonist / central piece of the Maniac trilogy, as well as the upcoming reboot. Apparently, it's getting a reboot. More or less, who he was essentially a police officer. Well, he was a serial killer masking as a police officer. He ended up being killed, but brought back to life through voodoo, and continued to wreak rampage against the people who wronged him, innocent or good, in the Maniac Cop series. As basically an undead voodoo individual, he has many supernatural abilities, including superhuman attributes like near invulnerability, though fire seems to be a weakness of his, though he's been shown walking it off. Immortality, as being basically voodoo magic, he can kind of just keep coming back to life. Pain immunity, he just seems to ignore it. Murdering skills, was always competent in murdering. Police weapons usage, other police skills, fighting skills. Stealth, it's implied that he may have teleportation, but I doubt that. Intimidation, leadership, and one big thing he has over Jason is intelligence. He seems to have retained all of that. So he's a bit more. He's kind of like a more intelligent version of Jason. Now, obviously, with Jason, we always look at least 4 versions of him. We look at the 2009 reboot where he was just human. We look at basically the end of the series, Jason Goes to Hell Jason, where he's essentially a demon that possesses bodies at that point. Then we look at Uber Jason from Jason X, where he's essentially Robo Jason. And there's also Freddy vs. Jason, where he's essentially a zombie at that point. But obviously not in continuity with Jason Goes to Hell Jason. So we'll just, instead of going over each of them real quick again, we'll just kind of go over their skills and just create the fight as it happens. So with Jason Goes to Hell Jason, he's pretty physically powerful, higher generation capabilities, but pretty slow and bulky, meaning if you have enough firearms on you, got enough firepower, you can basically just take him out. However, unlike any of the other Jasons, he actually has the ability to come back legitimately from just being blown to smithereens due to the fact that his spirit can possess people. Now, you blow him up, you're going to have to be drawn to consume a body part. I'm guessing his heart or something like that. And in a fight between Cordell and Jason, I do think Cordell wins the actual confrontation. Jason could be walking around, Cordell just blasts him apart. He shoots off one of his arms, and they go toe-to-toe, squaring off. And Jason could definitely do some damage to him, but ultimately it doesn't matter because Cordell's smart enough to avoid any serious hit and basically take Jason out. The question becomes, does Jason's spirit try to possess Cordell's body? In 1 second, please, Poppy, want to go outside? Poppy, want to go outside? Good baby. 1 second. Let's see, the light's apparently not working at the moment. So, does Jason's spirit try to possess? Well, obviously, tries to. Does it work on Cordell? The problem here is that Cordell was brought back, at least from what I understand, the second movie. Let's see here, because it was said in the trivia here, going into a bit more, is that I can't. At least in the third one, he was brought back with voodoo. It's possible that he wasn't fully brought back with voodoo in one of the other ones. But screw it. Let me just, because I got his whole synopsis up here. Why don't I just check that real quick? Let's see here. A man named Sam, his girlfriend, are driving to Manhattan. When they stop at a cop approaches the car, then taps on the driver's window of the tunnel. As he gets his fan from the car. I didn't want to watch it. Okay. See the police customer, and okay. They don't explain how he came back really in the first one. See this in the water and continues to kill you. Yeah, okay. I guess it's only in the final one he was brought by voodoo. Point being, though, with voodoo magic there to honestly offset the demon, I'm going to go with Corden walks away from that fight without being possessed. Now you go with Zombie Jason versus Corden. That one's going to be a bit trickier because Zombie Jason can take a lot more abuse than Jason X Jason could, honestly. And his regeneration capabilities seem to be on a much higher level. He was generating from just things that he shouldn't have been able to regenerate from. Like, we saw Freddy honestly stab his eyes out, and yet he had at least one eye to look at Jason would later on, or Freddy would later on. So it's... Again, the problem, like with almost every other version of Jason, is he's very slow, whereas Corden's not limited by speed. His speed is still relatively intact, and he has more firepower on him than Jason does. But Jason this Jason, I think, can tank a lot more damage than I think, honestly, the Jason Goes to Hell Jason can. So, and if this fight gets to close range, we've seen that. 1 second. Okay, good. Good pop-up? Okay. We've seen that while slow to honestly move, like just traveling, and like an actual close quarters fight, Jason is actually pretty fast as Zombie Jason from Freddy vs. Jason. So if it actually comes down to a pure physical brawl, which it might, I think Jason has enough durability or regeneration capabilities to tank most of the gunfire. If it gets to a close or quarters match, I think Jason might be able to pull a win out on him. Because as far as we can tell, Corden's never been actually blown up or dismembered, disemboweled, anything like that. He's only been usually burnt or shot or things along those lines. He's never been like truly taken out like that. His body's usually intact. So if Jason can take off limbs and start take off his head, then I think Jason can take the fight. The question is, does that happen the majority of the time? And the problem is Corden's probably got comparable strength. Maybe not quite on the same level as Jason, but comparable nonetheless. He's got better hand-to-hand training, honestly. He's just got better skills overall than Jason does. So while just Jason could still stand a better chance of winning and definitely could pull some victories out, I'm going to still have to go with Corden in that fight. Then Human Jason versus Corden. This is the one Jason that is hard to say because he's the fastest of them. He actually can move pretty quick. And he has things like a hunting knife, a crossbow, his machete on him, an axe, or a hatchet. So he could definitely get out of the way to Corden's punches and blades or billy clubs or whatever. But because he's actually the only one of them that's human, he's the only one of them that's actually truly immortal. So gunfire will put him down a lot quicker than the other Jasons. So that one's a little tricky to really delve in. Again, if he can get in close, I think he might have the fight at that point. But I think that Jason, unfortunately, is prone to losing the most out of all of them, simply due to the fact that he is the only one of them that's actually mortal, as far as we can tell. But then we have Uber Jason, who was able to tank automatic gunfire, go toe-to-toe with a cyborg, and just walk away unscathed. And possibly, it survived in the vacuum of space, and possibly was able to survive the re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Again, it's never confirmed whether or not he actually survived that or not. That Jason, there's nothing Corden could throw at that Jason that Jason just couldn't tank. It's like all his gunfire is worth crap. Even if he's got maybe like a grenade on him, that's not going to do anything. Any physical damage he does, he's going to just break his billy club over Jason. And then Jason's just going to snap in half and just rip him apart until he stops moving. So that Jason definitely wins the fight against Corden. Unfortunately, I think Corden actually takes the majority wins against the majority of versions of Jason. So I'm going to go I'm going to have to go with Matt Corden on this fight. About 75% of the time, just because of, the math works in that favor. But, yeah. Anyway, what do you think, though? Do you think, for those of you who actually know Maniac Cop better than I do, obviously this is something, most horror films, particularly with slashers, I don't know a lot past the original, like, the main big ones. And this is one I've never actually sat and watched. So let me know what you think about it. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. Do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superhero, Magic, What If, anything I do on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks next time.